All right, so NBA free agency is officially off and running. We've already seen a couple of pretty good signings so far. One of my favorite was KCP joining the Orlando Magic, giving them a three-point sniper where they really struggled from a three-point shooting perspective last season. That'll do a lot to help boost their offense to match their already dominant defense. We also saw that Chris Paul joined the San Antonio Spurs, pairing Victor Wembanyama with one of the greatest playmakers in NBA history. So already a couple of really, really good moves. And it got me thinking, there have been a lot of big name free agency moves over like the last couple of seasons where we've seen like these big name players go from team to team, but which ones actually aged well? And that's what I'm going to focus on in this video is I'm going to name the 5 free agency moves over the last decade that actually aged well in hindsight. And let's get things started with no further ado. And let's start here with Kevin Durant joining the Golden State Warriors. So obviously in the summer of 2016, KD shook up the league by joining the defending Western Conference champion Warriors, who that previous season had a 73-9 record, which still stands as the greatest regular season record in NBA history. And obviously, if you know, the Warriors just outed the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. So at this point in Durant's career, it was very clear that he was serious about contending for a title. He'd fallen short of a title numerous times already in a Thunder jersey. Back in 2012, they got to the finals, but lost to the Miami Heat. And obviously, that previous season, they got to the West Finals and fell short in a 7-game series against the Warriors. He was ready to kind of take his game to the next level. He had the individual accolades, he had the scoring titles, and all of those things. It was time for him to actually get to that level to win a championship, to add to his career accolades. And he met with a number of teams to go along with Golden State. He met with the Clippers, the Spurs, the Celtics, and even the Miami Heat. It would have been interesting seeing him join the Spurs and pairing alongside with Kawhi Leonard, who at that time was the best defensive player in the league and was actually the MVP runner-up. That would have been a really interesting duo. Also, seeing him pair alongside with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin in LA would have been pretty interesting. It could have taken them over the hump as they were looking to make a Western Conference Finals and NBA Finals appearance to kind of cap off the Lob City era. But while those were good options, we all know that he joined Golden State, and this yielded 2 NBA titles and 3 total finals appearances. We all know that people look back at it as a soft move, quote unquote. I don't think that, but a lot of other people think that. But it did help the Warriors actually establish themselves as a dynasty, right? And there was no guarantee that the Warriors were going to continue to win championships before he got there, right? So let's not act like Kevin Durant didn't take that Golden State team to the next level. He did. And they were able to capitalize on that, won multiple championships. And as I said, it helped establish the Warriors dynasty. And it did help him with his legacy as he won 2 rings and 2 finals appearances. So that's one of the ones that aged perfectly, right? And it didn't end in the best way possible. We know about the internal issues between him and Draymond Green and other guys, but still it helped establish a dominant era in Golden State franchise history and also set the tone for them to continue to succeed. Obviously, they won in 2022. So amazing stint for Golden State and Kevin Durant when he was there. Next one I'm going to list off here is LeBron James in the summer of 2014 when he returned to Cleveland. We literally saw the state of a franchise change overnight when Bron came back to Cleveland. So obviously at this point, he had 2 championships and 4 finals appearances with the Heat. He did more than enough to establish himself as the best player in the NBA. And so there were like a million different reasons as to why LeBron left Miami in that summer. It could have been the money, or it could have been the point that D-Wade and Bosh, especially D-Wade, were aging at this point, or it just simply could have been a legacy move for Bron to go back to Cleveland to contend for his city. And that paired him up with one of the best young guards in the league in Kyrie Irving, who at that point had 2 All-Star appearances. And the Cavs front office got very busy by trading the #1 overall pick, Andrew Wiggins, to Minnesota for Kevin Love in return. And so the Cavs established kind of a mini super team themselves with having 3 All-Stars leading the way. And yes, Kevin Love did kind of take a step back and sacrifice aspects of his game, but it was still a really good trio between LeBron, Kyrie, and K-Love. And this created a window for the Cavs to make 4 straight finals appearances. And we know that things ultimately got ugly in the 2017-2018 season with a bunch of huge roster shakeups, both throughout the offseason and throughout the regular season after Kyrie demanded a trade to Boston. But still, it transformed a franchise and turned them from a pitiful state with a disappointing history to having one of the greatest sports championships and sports moments in history with that 2016 NBA finals win. So that is one that aged very, very well. LeBron's return to Cleveland. Next one I'm going to list off here is Jalen Brunson when he signed with the New York Knicks. So this one is very interesting because the entire basketball world at that point in Jalen Brunson's career, they weren't sure if he was the answer for the Knicks. He had a great playoff run in 2022 alongside with Luka, where he and Luka got the Mavericks to the Western Conference Finals. But even then, Dallas was unsure with how much they wanted to pay him when his rookie contract was up, right? It was a bit of a gamble at this point. People just weren't 100% confident in the type of player, what caliber player he was. Then we saw New York come in and take a huge gamble. They signed him to a big-time 4-year, $104 million contract, which is more than Dallas offered him. And since then, he's been amazing, right? From his first season, he established himself as their franchise player and as one of the most elite guards in the league. I think, especially after his run of the playoffs this year, you can make a point and make a case that he's the best point guard in the Eastern Conference. Dame may have something to say about that next season, but as things stand, I think Jalen Brunson is the best point guard in the East. And it's good to know now that New York has something to build around after years of ugliness and turmoil since 2013. They were just flat out unwatchable. And I'll give credit to Julius Randle, right? Obviously, in the 2021 season, he helped get them back to the playoffs for the first time since 2013. But having Brunson here just gave the city another level of confidence, right? And so far this offseason, they've done a great job retaining OG Anunoby and also trading for Mikal Bridges, who gives them more offensive firepower and fits right into their defensive culture that Tom Thibodeau has kind of instilled so far. Is a championship in their future? We'll see. But so far, the Jalen Brunson experience has gone very well here in New York. Let's name off another one, and this will be the final one we name here, and that is going to be LeBron James joining the Los Angeles Lakers. So I'm going to be honest. LeBron's stint in LA has been pretty weird, right? So obviously we could tell in the summer of 2018, Bron's days in Cleveland were numbered. It didn't really look like there was a ton of upside for the Cavs' future. Yes, they got to the finals, but that roster just was not sustainable to continue success. LeBron is at a point where he wants to win as many championships as possible to continue to add to his legacy. So he joined the Lakers on a 4-year, $154 million contract. And as I said, his time with the Lakers has been weird. Yes, he bought them a title in 2020, but in the years outside of that, things have been disappointing. There have been a lot of coaching changes, the constant trades, just a lot of up and down stuff that hasn't gotten them back in the title contention status just yet, right? And yes, they did make a West Finals appearance in 2023, but still, it's been a relatively confusing stint. There is some upside. They've been pretty busy so far this offseason with bringing in J.J. Redick as their new head coach and making a good pick in the draft at the 17th pick, getting Dalton Connect from Tennessee to help add to their three-point shooting, and also what other moves are they going to make this offseason, right? So they're going to get really busy these next couple of months, but regardless, LeBron's free agent signing, as I said, while it was a weird couple of years so far here for LA during the LeBron era, it at least did its job to put the Lakers back in a positive spotlight after years of disappointment since 2013. So those are the ones I'm going to list off there. And if there are any other impactful free agency moves, please let me know in the comments. But those are 4 big-time free agency moves that aged super well over the last decade.